Hi everyone. I'm Mitchell Provençal. I'm the program coordinator for Baton Roots. Welcome to Sow Good Saturday. Today we're going to be going through our community garden, kind of looking at each crop, talking about pests and issues and maintenance for each of the crops. What I really like is when people add in what's working for them or any questions that they have as we're going. And we're also going to be planting some stuff that you can also plant in your garden right now. And then we also have lots of plants and stuff to give away. So the first crop we're going to look at are these tomatoes. They are a little crazy and they have gotten out of hand. One thing that everybody should do for tomatoes is trellis them. If they're just like laying on the ground, critters and stuff will come and eat the fruit. It's more likely to get diseases from dirt and water splashing onto the leaves. So the system that we've used here is we're just using one stake per plant. We did one good pruning and like one staking of it like 2 weeks ago, and already it's like totally out of control. So I think I'm going to take one plant and do a hard pruning and kind of show you what it'll look like to keep it to like one main stem. The reason why people do this is that if you keep it to one stem and take off all this excess branches and stuff, you'll get larger fruit from what's growing there. But also down here, lots of heat and humidity also causes more diseases. So when you prune it good, you have lots of good airflow. When we originally built these beds, the soil was at the top, so that was good because the stalk of the plant would have lots of good airflow. But now that the soil has sunk and we haven't refilled it yet, we really need to keep it clean down there so that air is flowing through properly. Also, when you're pruning your tomatoes, it's good to know if they're determinate or indeterminate. If you have indeterminate, when you prune the suckers, you can reroot them and plant them again.
How do you know whether you have?
When you buy the variety, it should tell you.
Oh.
I think, does it say it in stores? Indeterminate? Oh. How do you know if your plant is determinate or indeterminate? It depends on the variety. Now, if you buy seeds, it'll totally say it on the packet. I'm not sure if a lot of nurseries, like the ones that we have for you today, I'm not sure if it says it on there. So you might just Google the variety or ask somebody that knows and has some experience. But I know that these are sun gold and they're indeterminate. So determinate is going to set its fruit and then you'll get that fruit and the plant will die off. Indeterminate will keep going.
Okay.
It's like when you see like the greenhouses that are just like growing tomatoes for years and years, those are like indeterminate tomatoes. They can keep those alive.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we did the stake method here and we just used string to tie it to the stake. One problem is that you want to tie it tight enough to give it some stability, but you have to come back and check because the stalk of the plant's going to keep getting wider and it's going to probably outgrow where you tied to the stake. And if you can come see here, like we tied it too tight and it's already like broken through the string right here and it's like rotting, so I'm not sure how much more time we have with this plant. But we're gonna try. Well, let's take that one up. I think I'm gonna take this plant and do a crazy pruning. I'm probably gonna lose some fruit, but we're gonna get it to one main stalk.
Can I ask you another question? So I thought that if you hard prune a tomato plant, you can lose the plant itself. I'm talking from experience. I didn't read that. I hard prune, yeah.
Yes, I mean if your plant's already like stressed and not doing good, totally.
Well, it looked good until I pruned. And then when I read up on it, it was because I pruned too much at one time.
At one time?
Which I'm thinking you're
okay.
calling a hard prune.
Yeah. Okay, well then I won't prune too much.
No. You're the expert here.
I mean, I
Amateur.
haven't pruned one this crazy before, honestly. Okay.
You know what else? The size of the sucker too. What you're pruning.
Okay. Okay.
Don't cut it because it's good. That's immediately going to introduce disease. It's kind of like when you're trimming a tree. You don't want to take some. When the big growths get there, it's too late.
Okay, that hurt.
I know it did.
Oh wait, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I just said that big branch you cut off was the wrong size.
He's doing everything wrong.
Maybe you should have been listening.
No, I was just telling her from experience, cutting the big suckers, when they're too big, it's too much for the plant. It stresses them out.
Yeah.
And immediately I start having problems.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And it's like, yeah, and you're creating a wound too. So I feel like we've been kind of, I don't want to say lucky. Hello.
Hi.
That it hasn't been rainy because that does like help breed the diseases. So it's been super dry, but it's also, we need some rain. Yeah. So it's been kind of nice that it hasn't been raining. So, oh, hey. It's been helpful that it hasn't been raining as much because that can help breed some diseases. I'm not going to prune anymore. I'm actually just going to stake all these crazy suckers up and pretend like they're their own plant. And we'll see how that goes because there's one more here. I mean, these plants are doing so good that I really should. I am just going to clean up some of these leaves down below that look like they're going to touch the ground. Or touching the ground. If they're too buried down underneath there, then they're not probably photosynthesizing as much.
Yeah, instead of I use stretchy material. I take old t-shirts and I cut them.
Or like old stockings.
And then I tie my plants with that. And that way it stretches out and it doesn't.
It's also a good way to recycle fabric instead of throwing the fabric away.
Okay, so use a stretchy old shirt to... Where's the box? Oh.
Yeah.
Back there, and that's
You have
exactly
stockings that get runs in them.
Let's see string.
Here, I found out if you double it, it makes it easier to handle.
But I brought scissors out here.
Yeah.
I just wear pants.
Where you want to tie?
I'm gonna get one more stake. Let's tie this one. Nope. Where is it? No, come over here. Let's do this one onto this pole.
The string is so flimsy. Caitlin and I had a hard time working with it until I doubled it. It made it easier. Yeah. Old people.
He says it does fine, but I
Did Pop just go in and say, Granny, do you learn now?
We come up with amazing things.
Okay.
Still doing things.
Okay. I wish I had an example of...
Yeah. Of what?
Well, yeah. I hope they washed them.
Okay, I don't have the right material, but the system that we use in the back is that we have a conduit running across like the cucumbers over here, and we just drop one string per plant. And so we prune it to a main stem and we just wrap it around the string, and there's enough tension in that string to hold it up. So that's the method I'm a little more confident about, and like it works really well. The T-post will last forever. The conduit's gonna last forever. Those little plastic T connectors are pretty cheap, but they'll last a long time too. And then you'll just have to like, when we plant the plant, we plant the string along with it. So the string is buried in the ground, and then you just wrap it around the string.
Okay.
If we want, after we're all done, we can walk back there and see. They're doing pretty good, but it does require more maintenance and pruning because we do keep it to that single stem. But it's worked really well for us. And I like that the materials are like reusable, like they're super sturdy and they'll last a really long while.
Also, too, found a website, Cost. He is give you some great information.
Yeah, they make lots of videos.
Educational
I've heard good things about their seeds, Hoss, H-O-S-S, and they have good tools too. I think these stakes would probably be better for determinate tomatoes because they're only going to get so big, they'll make their fruit, and then they'll be done. For indeterminate tomatoes, you're probably going to need a bigger system because they're going to keep growing wild and wild and wild. I mean, in general, the plants are doing good. It just looks a little messy. So if you can handle the mess, I think it's fine. My garden never looks perfect, and they're healthy, so.
As long as you're getting fruit.
That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah.
Don't come see mine.
Yeah. So,
Mine's a jungle.
all right, where's this branch? All right. So, this is like, when you look at this plant, you can see that this is like a main stem coming out, and like this is where a new growth is coming, and branches are coming out, and every time there's a branch coming out, a shoot comes out that they call a sucker, and people call it a sucker because it's taking away energy and resources from fruit coming off this main stem. So if you let every single one of these suckers grow and come off and they're already putting out flowers, your fruit, like if you're trying to grow bigger tomatoes, they're not going to get as big because energy is being spread out across all of these flowers and fruits, okay? So this is a little big, but like when it's growing up, you have a branch and then you see a sucker coming up that's like this size or even smaller, you just come through and break that off and it'll help manage that. So you can come through, break the suckers off, and we just come through and prune all of that. So, can I see this real quick?
Let me ask you a question. So just say, for this one here, these two, which is the sucker? This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once the sucker starts to come through, it's going to push this branch down. But you can see this one is starting to have flowers. This is just going to be a branch that's going to photosynthesize, but the sucker is going to
put flowers. Oh,
yeah.
How do you tell the difference?
So the branch will be there first.
The sucker pushes the branch down.
Yeah. The branch is going to.
The one that's going down.
Yeah, the branch is going to come out horizontal, and the sucker is going to start to pop up.
And it doesn't have flowers, right?
Not yet. It will grow flowers.
Okay.
Oh no, the branch won't.
The branch won't. Okay, all right.
Yeah. It is totally a skill. I mean, you need to. It takes a little while to learn and like be able to identify it quickly. But when you're doing a few 100 feet at a time, like back there, you just get used to it. You can identify it. And then once we have that main leader, like we'll check it we'll try to check it every week. You can just like come through and break those suckers off.
But to me, it seems like in a couple of days,
I think
you
the main
can
stem
lose
is
your tomato plant.
branching.
I mean,
Both of those are main stems.
if you miss 2 days, you're just
Yeah, if you're planting like early March, and then like mid-April, end of April, early May, it starts to warm up and those plants take off. If you do not watch it,
that's right.
but it's fine. And also when people are starting to grow tomatoes, I always recommend cherry tomatoes. They're the easiest. The longer the fruit is on the plant, the more time for like insects and pests to get on it. So like bigger fruit, there's just more time for pests to come and ruin it. So I always recommend cherry tomatoes. And then if suckers do come, you don't really care because the cherry tomatoes aren't going to get massive, you know. So you'll just have tons of cherry, smaller cherry tomatoes. So yeah, I'm not going to prune any more of that. They're looking fine. They're about to set. They're setting lots of fruit. And there's tons of blooms too.
So the tomatoes that's on there, if you pull them off, will they eventually turn red?
I think so.
Sometimes, if
Yes.
you're big enough, sometimes not.
Yeah, and it might take weeks or two. Or so. Whenever they start to blush and like show any sign of color, I usually grab them.
Okay.
I've heard that they're not making any more sugars and they're not going to be like mean, I'm sure it tastes best letting it fully ripen on there, but once it starts to blush, I take them off.
The string is too hard.
You can help contribute year-round by becoming a Walls Project Insider. Your reoccurring monthly donation will help fund projects like this, as well as the many other programs hosted by the Walls Project. Learn more about these projects by visiting thewallsproject.org.